Ladies, I know that we wear a billion hats and we do all the things, but we cannot let Monday keep bullying us. Listen, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and you're feeling like your weeks are literally in control of you and you have no control over your day or the days to come, this video is definitely for you. I'm Tiffany, the founder of Triumphant Wife, and this is a place where ambition meets grace. This is a place where I am giving you the tools, the resources needed to successfully navigate the demands of marriage, motherhood, and the marketplace. I'm going to share with you my secret sauce for how I stress-proof my week. The secret sauce of how I stress-proof my week is all in my Sunday routine. That Sunday routine will set you up for success or failure. Just depends on how you do it. So I'm going to tell you how I make sure that I'm prepping myself for success for the week to come. Let me tell you why this is so important. I don't want to show up in the areas of influence that God has given me mediocre. Mediocrity is just not my standard. I am excellent in everything that I do. I'm excellent as a wife. I'm excellent as a mom. I'm excellent in my business. I'm excellent in the marketplace. That's just the standard for me. And what helps me to be excellent in all those spaces is how I prepare for my week. So my Sundays go a little something like this. The first thing that I do every single Sunday before I start planning for the week to come is I take a look back at what I did the week prior. And what I'm looking for is what worked, what didn't work, what challenges did I find, what successes and what wins did I experience? At what point did I become overwhelmed? At what point did I feel like I was really winning and thriving and just doing great? Okay, I'm looking back over my last week's to-do list. What did I accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? Why didn't I accomplish it? How did I feel when I accomplished X, Y, and Z? How did I feel when I didn't accomplish A, B, C? So it's important to look back at your week before you move ahead, because otherwise you'll just be jumping into something. And what will happen is you'll perpetuate the same things that were ineffective in your last week in this upcoming week. And we do not want that. We want something different. We want something new. We actually want to triumph. We actually want to see victory. We actually want to be successful. So in order to be successful, you can't be afraid to look back. So look back at your week behind you as you prepare for the week ahead of you. The next thing I do to stress-proof my week is I actually plan my week. I don't ever let a week just happen to me. I've tried that before, I've done that before, and it only led to exhaustion. It only led to overwhelm. It only led to me feeling defeated and like I wasn't a good steward of what God has given me to do. It only led to me feeling like I wasn't good enough. I take out my organizer, which is my planner that my husband developed. His organizer is amazing, by the way. It helps me to get all the things that are in my head, out of my head and onto paper, and it helps me to organize my months, my weeks, and my days, and it helps me to just keep everything in its place. It helps me to literally get it all done. My organizer is essential for my Sunday prep as I look ahead at the week to come. So what I do is I start with the brain dump and I get everything that's in my head out of my head and onto paper. And then after I move from the brain dump, I'm able to go into my weekly tasks. There are certain tasks that I have to do every single day. So I go ahead and I write those down. And then I'm going to think about what do I need to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then till next Sunday when I come and do my organizer again. I'm going to write those things down. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is move over to my weekly calendar. Now, this is where I pull out all the calendars. I pull out my work calendar. I pull out my business calendar. I pull out my personal calendar. I look at the kids' calendar. I look at me and my husband's calendar. Side note, if you don't have a family calendar, that is why you feel stressed and overwhelmed in the week. Get a family calendar where all of your family stuff is in one place. It doesn't have to be anything super complex. You could just use whatever's in your phone, whether you use Outlook or Google or Gmail or whatever the case may be. Use whatever's in your phone. And anytime that there's something that comes up for you, for yourself, for your kids, you guys put it into this one calendar. Or if you don't want to have a family calendar, all you have to do is, for example, your husband has a meeting, so he needs you you to do XYZ. So he would put that meeting on your calendar. So that way you see it on your calendar. That is how I stress proof my week. I have a calendar where all of our stuff lives and resides, and it keeps me sane. I promise you guys, it keeps me sane. So if you don't do this, think about it, consider it. Don't get overwhelmed by the thought of it. It can look how you want it to look, but I'm just saying, you can't say that you want to stress proof your week and not be willing to do the work. This is part of the work, okay? Okay. As I was saying, you want to look at all of the calendars and then you want to map out every single step. I know that this may sound tedious, guys, but this is how I stress proof my week. I am not caught by surprise by the things that happen every single week. Isn't that crazy? We are just caught by surprise. And the same thing that happened today happened last week at around this time. So I'm literally mapping it out from top to bottom. What time am I waking up? What time am I leaving the house? What time am I leaving work? How long is it going to take me to commute? What days of the week do I need to cook? What days of the week do I need to do XYZ? Whatever the case may be. What errands need to be done this week? What bills need to be paid this week if we haven't already paid it? These are the types of questions that I'm asking and filling in my calendar. And the other thing that happens when you actually plan your week is that you have more breathing room for the things that are unexpected. You have more breathing room and a more flexibility to respond to those type of things. But when you don't plan the week, every single unexpected thing can feel like it knocks you off of your feet. That is my secret sauce. I'm a planner. And I know that some of you might be like, well, I'm a free spirit. I don't really like to have all the rigidity and all that. Okay, that's fine if you are happy with where you are right now. But if your Mondays are bullying you, you need to start to increase and improve upon that ability to plan. Another thing that you want to do when you're planning for your week is you want to look for pockets of time. Look for the in-betweens. Okay, so I have a meeting at this time, but then I have about an hour and a half here. What am I going to do with that? Okay, so I am commuting during this time. How can I use this commute time as something that is either relaxing or productive? When we look for those pockets of time, it's like it almost gives us time back. And that helps me tremendously because I can use those pockets of time to be very strategic about what I'm going to do so that I can stay on top of my week and feel productive and feel like I'm having an impact and feel like I'm not under and buried under all of the things that I have to do because I am a wife, because I am a mom, because I do have my own business, because I do work in the marketplace. In my previous video, I talked about the importance of prioritizing yourself, setting priorities for your life. What is a priority in this season? So as you are looking at your week and you're considering all of your to-dos, you have to do so from a place of understanding of your priorities. Okay, these are my priorities. This is how I've said I want it to show up in my workplace. This is how I've said I want to show up in my home or with my marriage, whatever the case may be. And so I'm going to map out my to-do list in a way that honors those priorities that I've already set for myself and for my family and for the areas of influence. The next thing that I do is I meal plan and I meal prep. So I'm looking and taking inventory of what is in my pantry, what do I already have, and what do I need to get. And I'm looking at the pockets of time in my week to say, okay, this is when I want to go and get this because I need it to be fresh. Or I'm going to have this delivered through my grocery delivery service. Or, this week we might eat out on this day and on that day. Having a meal plan and prepping for certain meals helps me to meet the demands of my home, which is a priority for me, while I continue to do the things that God has called me to do outside of my home. So just because I'm working outside of my home doesn't mean that all of this stuff just kind of goes to the wayside. No, I am very much aware of what is happening on the inside of my home. So when you have a plan for your week, when you're actually looking at all of these things, it helps you to be a better steward. It helps you to give more of an account for your time and therefore helps you to feel more triumphant and less defeated in managing all of the things. That's why my Sunday night routine is so important. important. This Sunday night routine is going to help me to be excellent in all the things that I have to do throughout the week. When you meal plan, you're able to show up in the way that you desire to. If your family matters to you and what they eat matters to you, you have to be intentional. You'll hear that word so many times on this channel. Intentional about the way that you show up. The next thing I do, and I know that this might sound old-fashioned, I know you might be thinking to me like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? The next thing, listen, just go with me, okay? The next thing that I do is I iron my clothes for the week. I literally on Sunday pick out everything that I'm going to wear for the week, from the shirts to the pants or the suit or the dress to the shoes. What am I going to wear? And I'm going to pick it out. And then I'm going to take my steamer and I'm going to steam it up really, really good. And I put it back in my closet in the order that I'm going to wear it. And I do the same thing for my kiddos. Well, for the oldest one. The little one, she's 3, and so she kind of marches to the beat of her own drum. It kind of goes however she feels. So she picks out her clothes in the morning. But the oldest one, I make sure that her clothes are ready to go. So that way when she gets up, all she has to do is grab and go, because she's not old enough to iron her own clothes. And that's important to me. How my children show up in this world is important to me. I want for them to look good and to feel good about themselves. So I make sure that I press their stuff out. And you might think it's old-fashioned, but yes, I am that mom, even though I'm also running meetings, even though I'm also, running a business. I'm doing all of those things. And you can find me on Sundays ironing all of our stuff. Because I get to determine how I want to show up in my motherhood. And that's one of the things that is a priority to me. I care about how they present themselves. And then the other reason that I like to iron all of my clothes is because I care about how I present myself. When I don't do these things, I'm just picking something on the morning of, and it's like I never feel really good. I never really show up in the energy that I really want to project out into the world. So what I do is I pick out my clothes. Okay, this is a Monday outfit. And let me tell you a little secret. I always go all out on Mondays. On Mondays, when I walk into this office, you can see me strutting in with my heels. You can see me strutting in with one of my favorite shirts. You can see me strutting in with a nice pair of slacks or pants or a skirt or whatever the case may be. Why? Because how I set the tone for my Monday is going to impact what carries me through the rest of the week. So I get myself together on Sunday for my routine for the week to make sure that come Monday, I'm showing up in all of my bossness, okay? And I want that for you too. So that's why we have to be intentional to plan out these things. The next thing that I do to stress-proof my week is I plan for my self-care. Where you do it, when you do it is completely up to you. But for me, there has to be some level of self-care on that Sunday. I don't care if I just do something so small, like, do a sugar rub on my hands. I love like body butters and sugar scrubs. And I love all of that stuff. Those small, simple things help me to feel like I'm taking care of me. I want to show up and I want to look and feel a certain way. So that means that my hair needs to be a certain way. My girls have heads full of hair. Their hair is like middle back to right below or right above their waistline. So I have a lot of hair to do. And so what would happen is I would do their hair and then I would just be throwing my hair in a slick back bun, which is okay for sometimes, but not every single day. Your hair, first of all, your hair will get damaged if you're doing wet buns every day. And then second of all, that's just not the energy that I wanted to show up in. I wanted to show up intentional. I wanted to show up and be like, girl, this twist out looks good today. That is the energy that I wanted to show up in. So that takes intentionality. So that means that something is going to have to move or shift to make sure that I'm always on my to-do list. First of all, let's talk about this. Why are you the thing that continues to get knocked off of your to-do list or to the bottom of your to-do list? Don't let that happen, because how are you going to show up triumphantly in any of these areas unless you care for you? So if you don't do it in any other time of the week, let Sunday be the day that you do at least one thing that makes you feel seen, one thing that makes you feel invested in, not by anybody else, but by you. Do one thing that makes you feel like, okay, I have loved on myself, and as I prepare myself to be able to love on everybody else, serve everybody else, do all of the things, I can at least say that I've started my week by loving on myself. Ladies, I have something special for you. So if you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, man, I really do need to do a better job of keeping myself in mind. I need to make sure that I'm on my to-do list. I need to make sure that I prioritize myself as I'm pouring out and doing all of these other things in all of the other areas and all of the other places that God has called me to. If that's you, I have my You Guide linked in the description box. The You Guide is a blueprint that helps you to bring yourself to the forefront and make sure that you never leave yourself off of your to-do list again. It is free at the link in the description box. Make sure that you download it today. So there you have it. Those are the things that I do every single week that helps me to stress-proof my week, because I am not about to be stressed out. I am not about to be over here striving. I am not about to be overwhelmed and exhausted. I am going to flow from a place of grace so that I can be triumphant in all the things that God has called me to do and called me to manage. And I believe that that can be true for you too. You just have to put in the intentional work in order for that to happen. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed all of this. I know that this was valuable content. This literally, if you can implement at least one of these things in your life, it will literally change your week. It will change the trajectory of your week, and you can begin to stress-proof your week. Now, I really want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these things do you need to implement the most? Do you need to do a better job of looking back at your week? Do you need to do a better job of planning for the week ahead? Or do you need to meal plan a meal or two? Or do you need to get more serious about making sure that you are on your to-do list with your self-care? So tell me in the comments, which one of these do you need to implement the most so that you can stress-proof your week? Well, thank you all so much for joining me for another video. I hope that you found this helpful. I want to invite you to stay connected with me. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of the great and amazing content that's going to be coming out, because I have so many great things planned for you and I'm so excited to have you here with me in this space. You can also connect with me over on LinkedIn, where I share tips that will help you to be successful and excellent in the marketplace. And then if you want a behind the scenes peek at my life, you can follow me over on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you all so much for being in this space with me. I'm so glad that you're here. And until next time, go in triumph.